So now let's go through the quantitative part. So to do that, I have to download the data set, which I've already done. So I just go straight into StatCrunch. And let me make sure I have the right one. I'm going to load data from file on my computer. There it is. Okay. All right, so now we have to kind of look at this data set. There's a lot of variables, right? And in the instructions, it says that you're supposed to analyze total price for out-of-state students living off campus, not with family. And so I mentioned in the Zoom session last time, there were 4 of these, and you have to look around and look at the actual title, right? So you can slide this over like this, slide each of these over, make it a little larger. And so let's look at what we want. Let's be careful here. So total price for out-of-state students, okay? So this is in-state, so I'm just going to delete that. Out-of-state students, let's see, living on campus, is that what I want? Off campus, so I'm going to delete that. This is out-of-state students living on campus. And again, I want off, just to make totally sure, right? Living off campus, out-of-state, off campus. So again, I'm going to get rid of this. I think I added a column, then I wanted to take one out, right? All right. And so now this should be right. Let's see. Yes. So that's what I want. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sort the data. So I don't mess with anything here, but I am going to change this one. So, and I also could have gone to this list. I didn't have to delete, but sometimes it's just nice because you know, your mind's not distracted or anything, but you can also see it here. And I do this. Okay, and there we are. And I'm just going to close this here. Okay, good. And so this is the total price for, and here I'm just going to show you really quick, and I'm going to get rid of that, in-state students. And so I'm going to get rid of that so I don't have to even look at it and be distracted by it. Okay, so here are values. They're sorted from, let me resort these. That looks a little strange. Okay, ascending, so that's actually the lowest. Interesting. Let me try one more time just to make sure. Okay, so that's right. Wow, so that's actually the lowest. That's kind of surprising. That's why I was a little taken aback. So this is the lowest. So the lowest total state, total price for out-of-state living off campus. I guess this makes sense when you think about it. There's a lot of other expenses in here. Is 11,000. That seems reasonable. And then we scroll all the way down. I could have used summary statistics to compute maxes and mins, okay, but I just want to kind of look at everything here. And I come to this last value, which is ginormous, right? So this is what, keep track of the zeros here, right? 1, 2, come on, 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, so that's what, 30 million? That's definitely invalid, okay? There's no university that is that much. So we know for a fact that Morehead State's invalid, right? So yes, Morehead State. And I'm going to delete it. There's no way I can know what the actual value was. Okay, I can't figure out from the information given. Okay. So I'm going to go back here and just delete this quickly, so I don't have to deal with it. And there we are. And the highest is 79,000, okay? And again, Jewish theological, I don't know. But it seems like it's reasonable because I can see that there's a number of universities that are in the 60s and 70s. So I don't think anything else is invalid. Everything else looks okay. Outliers. I'm going to come back and wait till I plot to look at the outliers, okay? Missing data values, yes, there are a lot, right? And so we can see that if we wanted to count the number, right, it starts at 1235 and ends here at 1285. Okay, so we can see that there's 50 invalid data values. I mean, missing data values, sorry. So there are 50 total missing. And we're not going to do anything because StatCrunch just ignores it anyhow. So we're not going to do anything. There's no way that we can fill it in or kind of guess from the other data. There are ways that you can do it, but we didn't learn it. And on top of that, the data values aren't going to make any difference when we do the actual computation. So, okay, appropriate plot. So there's dot plot. So the thing you want to remember is you're working with a quantitative variable, not a categorical. So you're not going to make a bar plot, okay? So you have histogram, box plot, and dot plot. Dot plots when you have a few data values. I don't have that. I have a lot of data values. A box plot is a very rough plot that we generally use to check symmetry, okay, and sometimes outliers. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make a histogram. So go here, graph, histogram, total price out of state. You can plot frequency or relative frequency. Okay, I plot relative frequency, doesn't really matter. I may come back to this changing the bins value above the bar. You don't have to put that, but it's nice. You don't have to put mean and median. And now I need a label axis, okay? So on the x-axis, I have total cost. And on the y-axis, I have relative frequency. There we go. And I'll go ahead and make everything capitalized so we're consistent here. And here in the title, we'll say distribution of 2016 costs for out-of-state students living off campus. Okay. And there we are. And you could put total costs even though I put it here in the x-axis. And there we are. Okay. And so I can go ahead, I can copy that image and paste it. So now, in order to answer the center and the spread, I have to be able to figure out what the shape is, right? So this is going to be an issue now. By the way, when you want to format, you can do through for the formatting. You don't have to do this. You can just resize it like that. And let me see if I can find it. I might not be able to find it. That's okay. Usually here there's a part where you can reformat and you can make it so that, in fact, it's right here. The wrap goes through, but it's not letting me do that. So I'm just going to resize that. That's fine. Okay. And I'm going to have to move a few things around here. I'm going to put the description on the next page. So now I have to figure out what is the shape. Okay, and here, this is one that it takes a little bit of looking, okay? It kind of looks like it might be right skewed, but the best way to tell, of course, is to make a box plot. So this is one of the purposes of a box plot. And I'm going to draw it horizontally. And I can see that there's definite evidence of a skew. Here I'm going to put them on the same scale so that you can compare them both and kind of see what's going on, right? And so if you look at this, put these on the same scale here, you can see that the box is moved a little bit, the center lines moves a little bit towards the left-hand side, okay? A little bit of this is due to outliers, okay? These three here, but you can see that this is a little bit longer than this. So the best answer would be right skewed, which we expect for financial data anyhow. If you said that it was symmetric and you use median and IQR and you explain why, I'll give you some credit, but the correct answer here ends up being right skewed. So I know what I need now. Are there any outliers? No. These are outliers in name only. Okay. It looks like they're outliers from the box plot, but I can see they're really part of a long tail. So I can go back up and fill in this last part here. Okay. And of course I don't have to write anything because I had none. What did I use for the center? Well, since it's right skewed, I'm going to use median. Here. And for the spread, I'm going to use IQR. Whoops, I'm sorry. I meant to put this here. And then the reason why, because it is right skewed. And IQR for exactly the same reasons. And now we're going to use StatCrunch to get the values. So summary stats, columns, and all I need is the median and the IQR. I'm going to go ahead and put the mean in case you put it, but again, you know, I'll give some credit for that, but not full credit. And there we are. And again, you know, we want to think about this. This is actual dollars, so the rounding is kind of obvious, right? The rounding, we're going to round to the nearest cent. So this will be $40,000 in whatever, and then it'll be 9 cents, right? Whoops, I want the median. I'm doing the wrong one. 39290. And you can just cut and paste like we did before. Okay. And then let's see for the IQR. And then copy and paste. All right. If you didn't, of course, if you did not clean the data, your values won't vary a great deal, because again, the median and the IQR are relatively robust. Okay. Let's go ahead and describe it. So if we wanted to describe it, we would say that the plot of the college costs is unimodal, slightly right skewed, with no apparent outliers. The center of the data set is given by the median, which is and I actually gave you guys a script in the Zoom session. You could just copy and paste that script and then change as you need, right? And the spread is given by the IQR, which is 3/4 pip, that's it. Okay. So that was a little more involved because you had to do the box plot to assess the skew. But again, if you said it was symmetric, you know, that's not terrible. Again, and I will give some points. Again, you know, what you're kind of looking for, let me just try to illustrate this a little bit better. You're trying to fit this to a best shaped curve in your mind, right? So if I were to try to draw like a best fit curve, it would look something like this. And if I now change this so it's a little brighter color, you can see, I'm not drawing it particularly well, but you can see it's going to have skew. It's coming up more steeply here, and then it's kind of coming down like this. And the tail isn't as long as a lot of times, okay? But this is going to be right skewed. Okay, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.